Order, regular board meeting, October 15th, 2024, 6 p.m. Can I get a roll call? Mr. Larry Smith.
Here.
Megan Hastings.
Here.
Michael Sterling, here. Kurt Thompson.
Here.
Aaron McKnight.
Present.
Rebecca Carlson.
Chris Arduino, recording secretary.
Terrell Yarborough, superintendent.
Shelley Wagner, Human Resources.
Michelle, curriculum and instruction.
Jason Bloom, communications and community relations.
Josh Rand, business and operations.
With that,
Absent is Evelyn Meeks.
Well, this evening it's my pleasure to welcome some of our friends from Windsor Elementary School. Well, Miss Lindsay, you have a good size crew.
We got all of them. Bring them on.
Participation.
Right.
Kurt, you can still bring it back there.
Just barely.
I figured when they turned around for the picture.
Very small.
Good thinking.
Oh, we're just blocking our mic, it's fine.
So these are some of our fabulous students from Windsor Elementary School. Each of these students was picked by their classroom teacher as they demonstrate respectful, responsible, and ready behavior at Windsor on a consistent basis. So that's how they were selected to come and say the pledge, and so many other lovely family members here. All right, so I would like them to introduce themselves. I think that's important for them, so we'll start with you. Go ahead.
My name is Arabelle.
What grade are you in?
I'm in first grade. My name is Nolan and I'm in first grade. My name is Hendrix and I'm in first grade. My name is Gavin and I'm in second grade. My name is Addison and I'm in second grade. My name is Gabriella and I'm in third grade. My name is Athena and I'm in third grade. My name is Freya and I'm in third grade. My name is Vincent Zachary People and I'm in third grade. My name is Adrian and I'm in second grade. My name is Jason, I'm in fourth grade. My name is Cal and I'm in fourth grade. My name is Jackson, I'm in fifth grade.
All right.
Nobody raise?
Ready?
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They were loud.
Yep, we're gonna bring also board members to join us. I'll get a photo of parents and then I'll move out of the way. You want to get one and I'll get out of the way so everybody else can get one. All right, we got everybody. 1, 2, 3. 3. And I'll move out of the way. No problem with you in there? Nope.
Smile. Cheese. Everybody say, go Windsor. Go Windsor. We got it?
Well, they can come up from the back. If you guys want to come up here from the back, like rotate.
Good wasps, right?
Yeah. I love it.
That was a wasp. Yeah.
He's like, what?
It was good. All right. Great job, guys.
2 years in.
That's all right.
Look at us, we're the proper ones.
Only took 2 years.
Keep that confidence.
With that going said, I need a nomination for Secretary Pro Tem.
I nominate Mike Sterling.
can't do president and secretary at the same time.
I nominate Megan. She's done it before.
Thanks, Eric.
Vote of proximity.
I've never done it.
Can I get a second?
I will second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
We're gonna give you 4 years of work in the next.
That's right.
That's awesome. Didn't even think about it that way.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure we get those extra 2 on.
That's funny.
All right. We need to, we're gonna do approval of the agenda, but we need to add student travel 12A1.
12A1. I have it in here.
Okay, it's in there.
It's in there, but there's no document.
We had one on our spots.
Oh, yeah.
Consent 13B.
Oh, there it is.
B. So, and then, you got it?
Can we pull the personnel agenda into closed session for discussion?
For discussion? We got it. Wants to pull the personnel agenda in for discussion? Okay with that? Yep, yep, okay.
Oh,
I'd like to also pull 14B for discussion.
14B,
It does not have to be enclosed.
but it has to be an open session, but are you trying to pull it off the agenda?
Just for discussion, if we could. I'm not trying to pull it completely off.
All right.
Help me with my, like, if I'm doing something wrong, let me know.
Yeah, so if it's not gonna be pulled off and you just want, we can all do that during the discussion part.
Perfect, okay,
And then at that point, we'll just
Well, you just, yeah,
either
you
maintain
talk
it or
to
pull it.
okay, I appreciate it.
discuss as well.
Right. 12 is where you start.
Yeah.
So, and then with the personal agenda going into closed. All right.
So we have two changes, the student.
Would you like to do that sooner or later, sir?
Later.
Okay, we'll do it when it sounds
Closer to when Josh starts talking, so that there's less of an audience.
correct.
Sorry, Josh.
We got some comedians tonight. All right.
It's gonna be one of the meetings.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda with those changes?
Motion.
Second.
Sorry, Mr. Sterling,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. McKnight,
Aye.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Hastings, aye.
And with that, I turn it over to Dr. Yover.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm never able to do as good as our students do for the pledge. That's awesome. So the mission of the Harlem Consolidated School District as a vital part of the community is to help diverse learners realize their unlimited potential by providing an educational program dedicated to academic excellence and the development of strong character in a safe and respectful learning environment.
Thank you, sir. All right, with that, turns us over to a new, this is going to be another public hearing concerning the intent of the Board of Education to sell $5,750,000 worth of school and fire prevention and safety bonds. With this, I'm going to have to take another roll call.
Sure, Mr. Thompson,
Here.
Mr. McKnight,
Present.
Ms. Carlson,
Here.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Hastings here, Ms. Meeks is absent. Mr. Sterling?
Here.
Chris Arduino, recording secretary.
All right,
Sorry, our superintendent. Sorry about that.
you're good. I just gotta write-
I didn't even know.
Shelley, what do you want to raise her?
I just gotta write
Scheller,
this down
curriculum
for,
and instruction.
Jason Blue, Communications, Community Relations.
Josh Rand, Business and Operations.
all right, at 6:09 PM, the Board of Education, there'll be a public hearing to receive public comments on the proposal to sell bonds in amount not to exceed $5,750,000 for the purpose of conforming its existing facilities that house students to the building code promulgated by the State Board of Education of the State of Illinois by altering, reconstructing, and repairing said facilities and having equipment purchased and installed therein. The life safety bonds, and explained that all persons desiring to be heard would have the opportunity to present written or oral testimony with respect thereto. Are there any comments?
Can we clarify what these projects are? Just
Yeah, but just going down my list of what I have to legally say. If there's any comments, are there any written testimony to be read in? All right.
Just briefly to clarify for the record that these bonds will cover re-roofing projects for the Harlem Middle School and our H9 or Hoffman campus this upcoming summer.
That's it? I'm gonna have to ask one more time, are there any public or written oral comments? Can I get a motion and a second to adjourn this public hearing by a roll call vote?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
All right. And with that, we're back into our regular board meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve the board meeting minutes, September 23rd, 2024, public hearing and regular minutes.
On the minutes from the last board meeting, it was noted under, in the approvals, in 13D, that the first was by McCain. I'm not sure why we had McCain.
Okay.
Those are fond memories, so remember those days?
It's probably your type.
I didn't catch this, so thank you, sir. We'll
Thank
get that-
you.
We'll get that fixed.
But yeah, if we fix that, I'm all good.
All right. With that fix, we will fix, so can I get a motion and a second to fix that and approve those minutes?
Motion.
Second. Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
And with that, I turn over just.
All right. Let's see if they're hiding in the back.
Oh, here.
It's my pleasure this evening to introduce some of our students from Harlem High School and one of our teachers. They are part of our journalism program. You may have seen recently that they received a grant, and they're going to tell you a little bit about that, but that's supporting them in their efforts to bring a student newspaper to Harlem High School, a whole bunch of other things. And so I'm going to turn it over to them because we obviously want to hear from them, and Casey, who is I think more nervous than our first and second graders that came in. So I'm just trying to put her on the spot and maybe ease this a little bit because she's got a whole type of script that she's going to read. So, but I'm turn over to Casey, who oversees the program.
So I'm Casey Cooper Gallagher. I'm one of our English teachers and journalism advisors. So talking to our students, a few of them are returning students and a few of them are first years that are here. We do have a bigger group, but just with timing and everything, practices and sports, and they're very involved in stuff. Not everyone can make it, but we have about 14 students this year to grow our program. And so we were talking the last year that we had our yearbook and we wanted to start providing real-world experience to offer various career venues for students in the field of journalism. So I have a couple of them here with me today.
Hi, I'm Kayla Blazer. I'm a sophomore and I'm a staffer in the yearbook.
I'm Dominic Coletta. I'm a junior and I am an editor for the journalism.
I'm Alina Coletta. I'm a junior and I'm also an editor for the journalism program.
I'm Madeline Curry. I'm also a junior and I'm also an editor.
I'm Mason Hens and I'm a junior and I'm a staffer for journalism.
Do you guys want to talk?
She quickly passed this script. So they're all like,
It's better
oh,
coming
we'll
from
read
them
it.
than me.
The Harlem High School Journalism Program earned a $1,500 grant from the Illinois Press Foundation and the Illinois Farm Bureau. The journalism program earned this grant to help us start up the new Harlem High School newspaper, the Harlem Horizon, along with the programs to help facilitate the workflow process of creating news articles and yearbook pages from start to finish. Additionally, this grant will provide funds for students to attend various conferences and workshops to improve their journalism skills, one of which they will be attending this Thursday at the University of Wisconsin's Whitewater.
Harlem High School was one of 16 schools to receive this grant, and we were told when we were presented with the grant funding that it was because of the letter that was written to the Illinois Press Foundation. The purpose of this grant for Harlem High School is to build up our journalism career path, to show students the various career opportunities this field can offer them. The students in the journalism program plan to develop a strong journalism presence throughout all facets of our school and community and teach our students the power their voices have in providing vital information to our community.
In closing, the Illinois Press Foundation found the following excerpt to be the strongest point made in these students earning this grant, and we feel it truly represents the Harlem community and also the importance of students' voices in the community. Our school community has had some battles with outside sources questioning our equity work and the right for all of our students to have a fair and equal voice, to have their stories heard, and a sense of belonging in our school. We are hoping with this proposal we can teach our students to work within the parameters of the First Amendment and also the Student Press Law Center New Voices Bill to be able to protect their rights to report on any topic within reason of the school environment. With being able to develop an online news presence, students will be able to report and impact the community while advocating for those who may be voiceless. By working with our administration, this will help ensure their articles and other methods of journalistic reporting are not censored and that all information and topics are presented in an unbiased and truthful manner to develop a more informed community.
Well, obviously you can hear by all of that and some of the excitement here that we're super excited to be able to offer this. I'm incredibly grateful to Casey and staff, and we talk about this a lot at our board meetings when we do these recognitions. Like, it obviously takes staff to be able to do these different things and offer these clubs and different things within our school. So Casey and some of the others that are sitting here even that are a big part of these experiences. But we're also excited for kids to find this path and this niche. I know that she's already talked about going into journalism or something related after she leaves high school. And so just these opportunities to find that interest and to build the skills, but also to prepare them for the future is pretty exciting. And of course, as always, I get to highlight former Ralston students that I had nothing to do with, but two of my former Ralston students are up here, so just kudos to me on that one. I am super excited because this, I know that we will steal content from them as we do our newsletters throughout the district, and so we look forward just to seeing what comes out of this. And congratulations to you all on earning the grant, and we look forward to the future. So, thanks. We're going to kind of come together and turn off this area. Harlem Horizon. Some of us board members are a little short.
Kurt, you gotta be up front. I'm only short of that.
You're gonna have to come up a little bit in the back. All right. We're back east side a little bit now. Perfect, thank you. All right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'll just see you real quick.
Oh, no, I took
Now you know what to
All right. I think we're
You
good.
need to fill out a waiver for this?
You guys did?
Yes.
That's
Awesome.
Harlem Horizons, I can't wait.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It is.
Great job, guys.
It's fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's easier to see over there.
That's all you got tonight? Sometimes you get like a plethora.
I know.
All right.
Jason, with that break, though, I'll cut.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I just wonder if your arm's long enough to
Road
hang your
runners
back.
unite.
The quotas were pretty easy, kids, so I don't think I've gotten it at all.
All right, and with that, we're gonna move on to comments from the community. First one up will be Evan Eckert.
Hi, my name's Evan Ecker. I go to Harlem High School, if you can't tell. And I'm a senior. I wanted to advocate a little bit about the auditorium and the current state of it. I first want to start off by saying that the auditorium is the way that we students find our way to the future. Personally, with myself, I did football for 2 years as a manager, and I didn't know what to do beyond just business. And then I joined theater over a cookie and a signature, and I was like, wait, this is my calling, this is my passion, my dream. And I'm like, I want to own a theater. I want to do something in the fine arts. And sadly, with the state that the auditorium's in, a lot of these students aren't gonna be able to find that same passion or really achieve that unlimited potential that we preach. I want to start by going with the student's future. Many of our students through the fine arts are able to get scholarships and fine universities and stuff to continue their education beyond just the high school. And recently, last year, we had around $70,000 go to scholarships for our students. I think that number's correct. But even beyond that, the fine arts teaches soft skills, so such as communication, leadership, being socially, being sociable with people, and just all these other skills that are taught through other sports and curriculars. So why is the fine arts and the auditorium being so underfunded and in such a state of decay? Beyond this, it just provides a purpose to go to school, a purpose to talk to people, a purpose to dream, and that's through the auditorium. Without that space being there and without it being functional, that doesn't exist anymore. I wanted to highlight a few testimonies that I got over the course of 2 weeks. One person named Sarah Berglund, the 2014 Harlem alumni, states that the theater is a place for everyone to come together and be equal. Whether you work together on a common goal, it doesn't matter where you come from, but what the team is creating. The auditorium, that's showcasing that the auditorium serves as a mean to showcase people's talents, to come together and create something that goes beyond just who they are. And I think that's so important to showcase those things, because people spend countless hours meticulously working towards a craft that they might not be able to do through sports or other extracurriculars, and present those things through the auditorium. Beyond that, many people state that the auditorium and fine arts, it brings people together and enables lifelong memories and serves as a refuge for people. And with the state that it's in, that's not gonna be able to be continued in the future. And it helps the people to stray away from negative paths in their life. Personally, before I joined theater and the fine arts specifically, I was in a very bad mental state. And then all of a sudden I joined, was able to be this little goofy character that flirted with old women, and that was interesting. But it allowed me to finally feel joy again. I think that's something that just should be showcased, and it's not through the auditorium, especially with the state that it's in. The fine arts have just as much as an impact as any other extracurricular in sports, and then sadly it doesn't showcase it through the auditorium, with there only being 7 house lights available, and us for rehearsal and stuff having to use basic floodlights to keep the auditorium lit. I think it's just unfair for future generations of students who go through the fine arts to find themselves in a position like this, because ultimately then we as a school aren't giving them the unlimited potential and showcasing them that they can do what they want and that they can dream if we don't repair this auditorium and we work towards a plan. Now, I understand that being a school board member, it's rough and there's a lot going on, and I know that this isn't a situation that's going to get fixed immediately. What I'm asking for is that we can all work towards a common plan and to be proactive about this situation, because I think that ultimately we have a lot of students going through these fine arts and finding themselves stuck because the auditorium isn't a place where they can truly shine as a student and showcase their talents. Thank you.
Thank you. Mason Hens.
Hello, my name is Mason Hens, and I'm a junior at Harlem High School, as well as a fine arts and a journalism student with Harlem High School. The auditorium has an amount of uses, including concerts, theater, meetings, and renting the space out to even dance companies, and so much more. But with this current state we have the space in, it is so hard for some people to really want to shine. And we've had lighting situations where we've had flickers, which have caused numerous of stress throughout our performances, including to where some people have had, with seizures and stuff, have had a little bit of problems with it. Before I joined theater, I was very lost. I didn't know who I was. It was very hard. And then freshman year, I went into a 3rd-hour class with Intro to Drama with Mr. Engler. That changed my life because he persuaded me into joining this theater, and I did both those shows, even though I was really only planning to do one and push a button. Instead, I ended up going backstage and doing the running crew, which was actually seen on stage, even though I had stage fright. I was able to show my passion, and recently this year I have been accepted for the All-State 2025 show, The Prom, which is one of the biggest shows a high schooler can get into as a drama person. Also, freshman summer, I suffered memory loss, short-term memory loss. I fainted at my grandmother's house and forgot the last 15 minutes. We were supposed to go on a drama field trip, and I was very nervous to the Ren Fair, and I didn't go. However, we did have a stage combat and a backstage cleanup day that I ended up going to. And I was still very nervous, but my teacher, Mr. Engler, reached out on behalf of the directors saying that we will comfort you and everything, so I went. I ended up feeling so much better about myself, and it got me through that long summer of tests, trying to figure out what was wrong. I also got announced as being a hypoglycemic student, which is basically pre-diabetic, and I've been one since, but because of theater, I've been able to work through it, and as well now this recent year, also joining journalism and being with Sting last year, I was able to make media as well and take photos that meant so much to people. And also, another thing we used the auditorium for was some of the doc showcases from Mr. Sting's class last year. I was the only student that came in and helped. So I did all the tech, so I did the sound, the projections, and the lights. The lights were obviously an issue due to the lack of house light and the lack of safety and the flickering. So that was a workaround. We made it through. The event was very successful, I think. Anyhow, thank you.
Thank you. We have a public comment that we received by email from Jeremy Hisholm that will be put into the record. Steve Paul.
Just first, did you all receive the comment I had sent an email?
Yes.
Okay, yes. And the too long didn't read. The abstract is just a challenge to the board for the maintenance, upgrading, and upkeep of the auditorium. My name is Steve Palm. My background and why I feel that I can speak to this domain is from elementary school. I was in band. I was at Fine Arts. I've been a lifelong musician. I've been in professional paid bands, folk music bands where I've done professional lighting and sound in my previous time. I've done concerts by Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, John Anderson, Doc Watson. I've designed, implemented, and run sound and lighting systems in several churches. I have an electronics background. I hold an FCC extra class amateur radio license. I'm a 30-plus year IT professional, including infrastructure, system design, implementation, operation, budgeting, and maintenance. And finally, I'm a parent of 3 former Harlem school students and a past, current, and probably future Harlem taxpayer. And while that open letter I didn't expect would be read, you have that. I posted that on the Save the Harlem Facebook group if anybody is interested in looking at that. But it detailed my firsthand experience when I was working with the auditorium systems in 2022. That year, went to a parent meeting night for the play, and we were told there would be no lights that year because the system was non-functional. The lighting council had died, and there was no money available, and nothing was going to be spent to fix that or remedy it. It was just going to be no lights that year. That was not going to work. So I volunteered, spent many hours, a couple $1,000 out of my pocket to put a system together so that we had shows that year. And not to brag, but I think they came off pretty good. The problem as I see it, with my IT background in planning and budgeting, is a lack of any kind of cohesive roadmap or plan to maintain that auditorium space, to upgrade things and keep them current with technology so the students who are on those career paths have systems to work with that are reflective of what they might see as they go on into their career, and to care for the space to make it usable. When you can't get any lights on, that's not very usable. At this point, It may even be a lack of curiosity or interest in what the real problems are. You know, if you're just going by because, well, somebody said this or we're doing this, but you haven't taken the time to find out what the real state of it is and how bad it really might be and what it's going to take to fix it. We can't keep putting Band-Aids on things. It needs to have a cohesive plan. Now, perhaps the current problems were inherited by the current administration, and likely they are because some of these have been, I think, fairly long-standing. The asbestos removal that was done last year, I understand, had been on the list for quite a while to be taken care of. But my plea to you as the school board, because it's your job to oversee the administration, not to rubber stamp the administration, is that, you know, you would step up, assess the situation, realize the value of the auditorium space, all the uses that it has, and put together a cohesive plan to fix it. I understand there's a fairly substantial grant money that's available, $50,000 or something like that, but we need to spend the money to get that grant money. And if we can't find that money, that's just money on the table we're throwing away. That would go a significant part of the way to fixing some of these issues. So whether you find that in the budget, whether you find some way to solicit donations as a matching thing, saying we have this money, get the public involved. You know, maybe you would find some business that would be willing to step up and help fund it, but I would really encourage you to get a handle on what really the condition of that system is and the value of that space and to do what it might take to get that money and get that fixed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to approval of the bills.
All right. The total payables for this period were $1,619,047.60. There were void checks of $29,557.04. Two payrolls this period in an amount of $6,965,010.17. For total expenditures of $8,584,057.77. Split out by fund, the education fund paid $6,985,115.64. The operations and maintenance fund paid $351,288.42. The transportation fund paid $326,682.21. The IMRF Social Security Fund paid $243,345.83. Capital Project Fund paid $630,778.23. And the Life Safety Fund paid $10,847.44. Again, for total expenditures of $8,548,057.77. For the bills, unless there's questions.
Any questions on the bills?
Just one. You said 8,548,000 or 584?
584.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, can I get a motion to approve the bills?
It's 548. You just said 84.
He said 84 first, then he said 48, so I
It says
clarified.
84 on here, so if I said 48, then.
Okay.
Because, well, yeah, on here it says 48. I know what I'm looking at right now.
So on one page it says 84, and on one page it says 48, so.
Sorry.
So which one are we going with?
Let me-
I mean, it's hard to approve it if we get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
One moment.
He's gonna get it right.
There's a difference of 30-some thousand,
We're late.
if I math right.
You did. Good catch, thank you.
Because I called him McCain.
It's 84.
Thank you.
84.
Okay, with that correction, can I get a motion to approve the bills?
Motion.
Second?
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings? Aye. Gosh. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson? Aye. Oh, man.
All right, with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Smith.
Mike, just out of curiosity, see if we can directly do.
given some of the concerns from the public comment and the option for announcements and discussions and some of the work that's being done, can we move that ahead and maybe speak to some of the stuff that's been done to the auditorium or the plans that are directly there? Are you able to speak to that? Or do we have a way to kind of get some of that information out?
Yeah, I would put some of that information out, but.
Before you do, I wanna make sure, is that something we can do? I know everyone hates surprises, but obviously, right now, people are here to listen, we'll talk through our things, there's stuff to go through, but people have things to go through, it'd be nice to maybe discuss it.
Yeah, no, go through it.
Yeah.
So for the last 4 or 5 years, I personally have worked with Chris Engler and that auditorium space, and in 21, 22, we approved a bid for over $250,000 to upgrade the speakers, the microphones, and for lack of a better word, the brains in that control booth. Before that even started, we sat down and discussed what were the needs of that space, what were the priority, and those were deemed at that time what we needed to do first, eventually working our way towards the lights. So the house lights beginning to go bad has been an issue of identifying that problem and what exactly that fix is, and one that we've continually had conversations on. Our architect and engineer was there last week, including, the engineer was one of the engineers that redid that dimmer rack in 2008. Working through the short-term and the long-term fix of that. So to my knowledge, we haven't denied any requests for purchase. We've just worked through projects and that priority list that was brought up back then.
What's the process that's in place? I mean, there's the big things that we've been working through. We know that the catwalk has been a concern because of trying to get someone welding up there and the potential fire hazards and insurance, so finding someone to take a bid on that has been a challenge. Now we can work around that. I think we need to address those, but in the emails that I have read and some of the statements even tonight, there are seemingly smaller or things that we can take steps. What is the process, and this goes to anyone, in place that these seemingly small issues that raise to safety concerns can be done and addressed so that we get to hear from those either this is what's been done, or that those can be addressed properly, or we can be made aware of them, so it doesn't take, the public coming in and a GoFundMe essentially to make sure we're aware of these issues.
Sure. So I mean, I kind of addressed the house lights and the identification of that process. Trill, I don't know if you as principal.
Like, I mean, there's things for like carpet that's there and ADA access, like,
Well, that's,
just to make sure how those are, not saying that those are directly done and that they need to, but how does it get done so that we're made aware, or the public or anyone can raise those concerns?
Well, the things that were brought up tonight, obviously now we need to go back and figure this out, but we can get those fixed ASAP.
Oh, yeah, but in the future, right? Like, if they see it, what is the?
We address it.
Okay.
Right, because we have life safety studies every year,
Reporting
right?
facilities.
Absolutely.
We have our maintenance crew that goes through every year. Obviously, we have.
So you think with these life safety surveys that some of these things may have been missed, and maybe there's something we need to kind of?
Some of these things we've
never heard.
Okay,
But now that we have though, we need to address it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've been in there a lot of times. I haven't seen carpet issues, but if there are, like, bringing that up, teachers bring that up to the principal or bring it up to us so that there's a note of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
well, I was just gonna say, hearing this, I mean, obviously, I've been on the board since before, I never heard that we never approved anything with saying that there's no funding. So that was news to me, to hear that. We've been getting constant reports of waiting for bids, and the last was the $250,000 that we were spending towards different things. But what's happened is the best thing possible is concerned voices come forward and let us know things that we don't know, which is great.
But I just augment slightly, the no funding bid, they had ordered a replacement lighting console, but due to supply chain demands in COVID, it was like 12 to 16 months out. So it wasn't that no funding was going to be used, that they weren't gonna fix the lighting board, but it was that nothing was available, but they weren't willing to spend then additional monies to like rent something or do something temporary. I just wanna be clear that you understand that it wasn't like it was rejected out of no funding.
Okay, but never heard that request. So
Yeah, that could have been a facility, some kind of a request to
Yeah.
rent something.
I think the bottom line with all of this is that we've heard everyone, we've heard the comments, we've gotten the reports. We're gonna get it done, period. I mean, whether or not, things have been brought to our attention, you know, whatever the case may be, until tonight, doesn't really matter. We need to get it done, so that's what we're gonna work on, both short-term and long-term solutions.
Personally, I'd like to actually walk through it with like Mr. Engler and actually see what, I wanna see it. You know, I wanna see it, because then when it comes through with Josh with the bid and all
Yeah, it's
this,
gonna have to go through business services, so
You know,
maybe this will
and-
be, this will go back to the committee of the whole, showing up with.
no, but what I'm saying is I'm gonna try to make an appointment to go see this so I can put my eyes on it. As being as a co-chair of business services, I wanna know when we get our bids, like if we're talking house lights. I think I know what the house lights are, I think they're the ones that come on at intermission and before and after. I'm not a theater person, I apologize, but when I see that jargon in that report, I wanna know what we're actually looking at.
Yeah, to your credit, like you're covering up for stuff. Like I'm going to these events for my smaller children, and to me, like I have an ignorant eye to some of it, because I go through and I'm like, the kids are great, they're lit, I can get out, and it's just making sure, you know, I am not a pro, just like you're not a pro, right? And you guys, well, some of you guys are, and you've gone through it, and you're seeing this stuff daily, and to make sure that stuff gets up to us directly, because if we don't see it or hear it, or by email, we want to make sure it's all there.
And I think one more important note is Mr. Engler and I have been communicating and trying to make sure that we have some quotes for a fix, but we want to make sure that's the right fix. And if it is the right fix, what process do we have to go through? Because there's legal bid things. So I took that last quote that we got, sent it to the architects and engineers. They came out last week and they're looking at that in terms of a way to fix that, so.
No burning down the ceiling with welders.
No.
Please.
Probably
So we are,
There's a plan.
Yeah,
we're working on a plan.
There's a plan, and the same thing, right? Like, anytime this comes up, like, I think it's great to hear this as a community coming through, but even one off, right? Like, you can let, you know, we'll make sure it rises to the right spot as a board, so that we get these things one off as they are, or, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. There's some squeaking, right? Like, for this case, but even smaller cases, we can make sure that stuff is done.
With that, I'm gonna turn it over to Larry
Thanks,
Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Sterling. I would like to thank Ms. Kaczynski and her bunch from Windsor Elementary School for leading the pledge. It was terrific to see that they are ready, responsible, and respectful. I hope all of our Windsor WAFs are such, as well as all of us sitting at this table. It's something to hope for. So I don't really have anything else, Mr. Sterling. I do appreciate all the public comments. I do appreciate Mr. Thompson taking the time to discuss that, so the people that took the time to come here can know that, yeah, we are open to those things. This is not something that is, the whole school district, Windsor School, Harlem High School, the middle school, all of the schools are important to us, and we want what is best for those things. And since I've been on the board, I've seen so many things that demonstrate that the school district takes responsibilities for the buildings, the maintenance, the staff, and there are processes in place to take care of things. And if we see things that there is not a process for, like the playgrounds, the work that we've done on the playgrounds in the last couple of years, there wasn't a process in place, and now there is, so that we can make sure that those are taken care of. So I really appreciate the work of the board. I appreciate the work of all the administration here in the district, and I truly appreciate everybody coming out to make sure that we're seeing what we need to see and hearing what we need to hear. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Ms. Hastings.
All right, I was not at the committee of the whole, 'tis the season, but thank you all for catching me up. First of all, journalism, super excited about that. I was on my school's newspaper, the Jefferson newspaper, and kudos to the kids who wrote the letter, and the last part of the speech, whoever wrote that, oh my gosh, got my heart, for speaking freely, journalistic integrity, equity, you hit all the hot words. So I'm super excited to read the paper and for you guys to have that. Evan, I was also a theater kid, so not on stage, but behind stage. Actually, to this day, is the reason why Little Shop of Horrors has a very special place in my heart. So one thing I want to thank Evan for is his advocacy. I've been following online, and you know, that's true advocacy right there, is not only standing up for something that you love, but seeing the purpose for others and standing up for, I mean, you're out this year, right? So you got 6 months, but your views of the future and looking towards the future classes and looking out for them, seriously true advocacy. Thank you both for speaking to the mental health aspect of theater, as well as the lights and the epilepsy. Thank you for bringing that to the forefront as well. I absolutely, not to, you know, no disrespect to any other public comment, but my favorite public comments are students. That's why we're here. So thank you both for coming in. I really appreciate it. Moving on to another one of my triple threat here, favorite areas of the high school, culinary. So they invited me in to see them in action during conferences. They were making tachos.
That timed up perfect for you.
Look at that. I didn't do that.
Today was the burger competition.
Yeah, I got, it's my time, Aaron.
I'm looking at the burgers.
So I absolutely adore this program. My elementary schooler is already looking forward to being in this program, even though she's got about 4 years. We have, I don't know if, I will say it loudly and I would probably embarrass her, but one of our teachers in that program was the head chef at one of the best restaurants in Rockford for an extended period of time. So to bring her knowledge and then her connections, so to Erin's point, today they were working with Baker Street Burgers because, again, you know, she's very gracious and shares her connections with the kids. So I'll let her share more of that on Facebook, but I was really excited to hear about that connection. Our flag football team, a fantastic season. What an awesome team, what an amazing coaching staff. It was not our fault that we ran into Guilford at the end of it, but man, it was really amazing to watch these girls run through their inaugural season. They did an amazing job. The parent pack. So recently there was a group formed, parent pack. They reached out to me, asked me if I could attend the internet and social media safety talk. If you've talked with me for maybe about 2 seconds, you know my feelings on social media. A lot of this was stuff that I knew. One thing that stood out to me is there was a grandmother sitting next to me, and she looked at me at one point in time in the resource officer's speech and said, "I feel for all of you with young kids. We never had to deal with any of this." And I think that was an excellent call out. As much as a lot of us are parents in this room, there is a whole nother world for parents currently parenting. So to take note of that and to really think when we bring up these issues of the impact it's having on the kids. I have said it and I will say it again, it is not the books, it is the devices in their hands, and it is how they treat one another. So shout out to anybody parenting right now. Force be with you.
You're awesome.
And shout out to the group who organized the event. And also special note to the middle school. At one point in time, there was all 3 assistant principals in attendance. And this was, I don't know, I think it was like a Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. All 3 assistant principals. So I thought that was incredible. Lastly, and then I will get off my soapbox. So I really try hard to scream loudly about all of the amazing things that Harlem is doing. and every program, because a lot of them were mentioned tonight by people who spoke. The documentary program, the drama program, the journalism program, all of our music programs, our bands. These are incredible culinary, incredible programs, early education. I'm just gonna keep going. We're doing so much good stuff and stuff that I don't think everybody realizes nobody else in the area is doing. And I want to continue to scream loudly. I also want to push. I know you guys are working hard, but push our admin team to keep screaming loudly. Join me on the rafters, and let's really get those messages out. I, as a parent, knew nothing. I, as a board member, know a lot more, not all of it. There's still so much more for me to learn, so I'm just thinking about those parents who were in my position a year and a half ago. They really didn't know what was going on, didn't know where to find it, so let's help folks find it. And that's all I got. Thank you, guys. Oh, Next Education, November 13th, here during Committee of the Whole at 4:30 p.m. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. All right. Start this off by thanking Casey and the Windsor Wasps for coming out and just being the amazing people that they are. Gotta give the props to our journalism, the Harlem Horizon. That is something we got just from the ones that were here, a sophomore, junior, which means we got growth and potential. So that's awesome. It's not just a bunch of seniors that are gonna be leaving. You actually have a base, and that is awesome. I really take to heart all the emails and messages that we've got. The long email, but it was still a worthwhile read of what needs to be.
It was good.
I also just want to let you guys know, so many of the other board members reached out to just, I would say admiration for the advocacy from your students, from you guys. Your words are heard, but just to actually have that, to where you have the feeling and what you're actually, where you bring in your heart, and you're giving us knowledge that we need to hear, because we don't know everything. I mean, it's a big district. We go as many places and as many things as we possibly can do. We're there, but we can't be everywhere. So when you guys shine a light, hate to use that word on it at this moment.
Terrible.
It is what we need to know when they're not working or when they're flickering, causing seizures. So yes, that will definitely have to be addressed.
I'd like to just kind of point out, my perspective in this. I've done this for 2 years since I'm a senior now, and I only have a couple months left. And there was such an extreme frustration and almost despair in this space and in the arts as a whole, just due to the auditorium being in the state that it's in. And that's why I really wanted to advocate for it, just because it's not only me that's saying these things. There are so many kids behind me that all want to say these things that just kind of feel scared or kind of feel like they can't, speak up and say something. I had a lot of friends drop today because they're a little scared to talk. And that's just because, talking to a bunch of adults is a little scary.
And we get that, and that's why I'm telling you, we appreciate it when you actually take the time to come in and let us know what we don't know. Or even if we do think we know something, to give a perspective that we don't always see. It is something that I've appreciated with this board that we've had. We don't just highlight the sports. We've advocated and asked that we advocate for all the other things that Harlem does well. We want to scream from the rooftops, as you would say, to let all the community know all the things that we do and our students are doing. Their achievements are our achievements. So we want to let everybody know that. So it's not just sports that we're going to be highlighting. I was not at the Committee of the Whole. I was told that I should probably be at the flag football game.
Coaching decision?
He gave me a hint. I do have to give props with that one, just because those girls are literally first year playing, and They did so well. They ran up against Buzzsaw in Guilford
Yep.
twice this year.
And their deficit was half from first time to the second time.
That's true.
So there's a.
But I'm just, for a new sport for us to do that well, that was pretty cool. But even with that, I want to commend all of the teams. Harlem held that event, and for all the other teams, that was nice. Our facility was, they said everything was really good for them.
Nice.
What else? So much lately.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll catch it up at the next board meeting. The next regular board meeting will be October 28th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Our next policy committee meeting, this will be a beating a drum, will be November 13th, 2024 at 4:30 here. I have a motion to appoint, we need to have a motion to appoint the 2024 IASB delegate to the 2024 IASB Delegate Assembly on behalf of Harlem School District. So do we have a nomination for that?
I'm gonna say, does Evelyn?
She can't.
She
She's on the
can't.
executive board.
She's on the executive board.
I nominate Aaron.
Well, and so I don't know if I can because I got the scholarship and I have like a mentor that is going side, so I would have to ask questions to see if I can.
Mike?
I've already been a delegate. Have you been a delegate?
I've not been a delegate.
I nominate Kurt. Can I get a second?
Second.
Well played, Aaron, well played.
All in favor? No.
Yeah, so with that, I got a nomination and a second. Is there any other nominations?
Just Aaron.
All right, just Aaron. So is there a second for Aaron?
Oh, I'll second Aaron.
All right, so we have first and second in for, we're gonna have to do a roll call on that.
Oh, geez.
Oh, I will renege my second, I've got this.
All right, you gonna take it?
As long as I will, if I am unable to attend this portion, how does this work?
If you're unable to attend this portion, it would have to be, oh.
We wouldn't be represented.
Yeah,
We won't be
wouldn't
represented?
Correct. So
Okay.
are you not going?
No, I should be fine, I don't have the time or date, so strap it in.
It's the Saturday of the tri-conference, probably the
Yeah, it's the Saturday
22nd.
morning of the tri-conference.
So you'll be there?
I'll be there. Oh, so Friday sessions, yeah, okay.
You can still do your Friday sessions.
I guess that's the main thing, is just making sure we've got some steps there. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, it's not gonna run into his finance
Alright.
course, is it?
Don't you leave my finance course out.
That's what I'm saying, I'm looking out for you. I know it's important.
So the original nomination was by Aaron and then you seconded it.
I did
Yes.
So Kurt's the delegate.
Correct.
Okay.
There we go.
He took back
All-
his second.
I'll do it next.
All okay with that?
Aye.
Yeah.
Yes, we have consensus. All right. Motion to appoint, be granted the authority. All right, so now we need a motion to appoint this delegate to be granted the authority to vote on the IASB resolutions at the 2024 Delegate Assembly solely in accordance with the consensus of the Board of Education from this meeting, October 15th, 2024. Can I get consensus?
Yes.
Can we discuss any of the?
Yeah, no.
Well, this is giving me the
Oh,
power.
that's coming up.
So this is just gonna say, we're gonna give them, it'll be Kurt? Got it.
Motion?
Yep.
Consensus, or is it, do we need a motion?
I need a motion.
It's a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Hastings, aye. Mr. Sterling,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. McKnight,
Aye.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
All right, with that, I turn it over to, oh, we're going to the resolutions part? All right, so now we're gonna get out these resolutions that are at your desk.
I don't know if those were provided.
It's
They were
right
sent
here.
Here's the
to you by
digital
email,
version.
it's attached.
There we go.
They're attached.
You wanna look
It's
at
on
it?
here, right?
If it's nothing has changed, then we have it.
The delegate resolutions.
All right, with the-
If it's something that you're not prepared to do tonight, we can push
No,
it to the 20th.
I'm not prepared. I did not see that. I apologize. I would have read this over
Yeah,
I would
normally this is
like
a,
time.
can we take this outside of your, like, can we bring this for the next one, bring it outside of the committee
It could be
presentation?
done
Put it as a
on
line
the-
item?
No, it could be done on, it could be done on November
This was
13th
attached
meeting.
to the,
I
so
wasn't
under
looking at your
Mike.
stuff enough, Mike, I
11C4.
apologize.
28.
Yeah, the 28th. can be
Yeah,
done
we
on
still
the-
have time.
We still have time, we have the
Okay,
28th.
yeah, I would like to read this further.
All right, how about this?
Yeah.
Do this.
No, I
Can get
know.
a motion and a
I know
second
you
to move this. This
So
part of the
sorry.
ISB delegates,
The resolutions.
the resolutions to the 28th meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Who's the motion?
Second.
All right, Mr. Sterling,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. McKnight.
Aye.
Ms. Carlson.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Hastings, aye.
All right.
So it'll appear on the agenda.
It'll be on the agenda for the
Perfect.
28th meeting.
Okay.
All right, you guys have them, we'll email them out.
Well, they're here, they're.
We've got it
They're
here,
in the
it'll be on the additional list,
Yeah.
get my highlighter ready.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna turn it over to Miss Evelyn Meeks, who's not here, so the next Equity and Social Justice meeting will be November 13th, 2024, for 4:30 PM. Kurt Thompson.
Okay, thanks, everybody. It was great hearing from all the other board members so far, covering a lot of great points. I will see if I've got at least something a little bit unique. Thanks for Windsor for doing the pledge. It's one of my favorite part of board meetings. It was definitely a repeat. Adding to the journalism grant, which I think is fantastic, the North Suburban Library, if anyone hasn't seen, has posted online. They did a great little series about Harlem and the school district specifically, and they called out the newspaper. And there were some great anecdotes. I definitely recommend anyone that can listen to it. But just hearing that recently, and then having that paper come back is in a digital form, however it is just fantastic. And I hope we have lots of embarrassing facts about the student body that go back to the parents, because that was part of it, was they would be like, who's going with so-and-so, and guess the person, and basically the parents would keep track of the children via this school newspaper. So thanks to the North Suburban Library for doing that, as a tie into the great work that we've got coming from this grant and all the work to put together that paper. Man, everything that's been hit so far on the auditorium, making sure that information is brought back up. And yeah, any time that you're willing to speak, especially as a student. I know on the other side, it's nervous enough even for me to give these presentations. If I was in your shoes, I wouldn't be able to do that. So kudos for being able to, one, come in and speak, bring together the community, be it online, in an extremely positive manner. That's just as difficult as speaking as having anything positive online anymore. So thank you for doing that and bringing that awareness. You took one of mine, but I'm going to spin a little differently. I love the involvement in our school, in our community by some of our local businesses. So Baker Street, yeah, giving up the time, takes a lot to run the business, to come in and help our students. That is great. I love to see that. The Ice Hogs, the fine arts students, tying everything in again, had the opportunity to sing the national anthem at the opening game of the Ice Hogs. So
Yes.
full house.
I was there.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So many students were able to go. I was able to be in attendance, and it was absolutely fantastic for, one, the great performances by all the students that were able to do that. Again, the nervousness, singing in front of a full house of hockey fans especially, is not nerve-wracking at all, so great to that. And just for the opportunity that, I know the Ice Hogs do a lot, from showing up to our schools and to our events, and just having this opportunity for our students to do that. And anyone out there, right, any local businesses, I love your involvement. I love being able to sing your praises as it helps our students and our school. Let's see if there's anything else. You guys hit a lot, which is great. Although two of you guys were not at the meeting of the whole, there was some great news. I'm sure we're going to touch on it with the electric bus grants. So one, so it's not on, there's just informational, perfect, I'll clue you in. So we've got some great opportunities to get some buses. We're looking at doing 2 potential buses. We found even more grants to help pay for some of those buses, to pay for the actual installation of the charging ports, and finding your research of what it's going to take to charge those to save even more money. where these are gonna be cheaper than a regular gas bus. And I think that's the way we're gonna do this, the way to see if it makes sense going forward to have this. It's a great trial run. I did come towards the end of it, and I really wanna push. We don't have any sort of events like we've done with the hurricanes that came through, but seeing how certain electric vehicles were used to then power homes and equipment in the times of emergencies, and the fact that electric buses are just giant power banks, and that some have those options to charge in and charge out, I really think we need to look and have that being on one of our point of contentions for buying these buses, is the ability to roll this thing up to a school, plug it in, plug anything in, or anything that our community needs, in the case of an emergency. These things can help power. Hopefully they don't get used for that, but I'd like having that option. It shouldn't be much cost. And again, all the hard work for lowering the cost of those buses for us to try that out. It will be exciting for sure.
Does it come with a driver?
Huh? I would say we've got bus drivers, but anyone that wants to drive an electric bus, sign up now to be a bus driver. We always could use some more. And I will say that will complete my report, but to hear some more of the amazing work that Josh is doing, you can do that at the Business Services meeting, which is at the Committee of the Whole, which if you didn't catch it the first couple times, is November 13th at 4:30, right back here.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
And with that, Mr. Aaron McKnight.
So once again, always going last or towards the bottom. Not a whole lot of new stuff to talk about.
Rotates.
Huh?
It rotates.
It rotates.
Yeah.
I know, but the last meeting I was at the bottom, now I'm second from the
You
bottom.
must have missed it when you were at the top.
Yeah, I did get, no, that one I nailed. We can go back and look at that one. I nailed that one.
We'll review the tape.
Please don't. But yes, I love having students come in here. I encourage Jason to make sure that we have students doing the Pledge of Allegiance every board meeting, please. Both my kids were WASP at times, and just, hearing how well they're speaking, and they were able to project their, I'm a loud talker, and I heard them over me, and Kurt's a loud talker. I definitely heard them over Kurt as well. So that was awesome. We could talk about the culinary program. Fantastic. My daughter actually competed in it today, and I didn't get a chance to pass her to see if her burger won. I did tell her a little secret. I'm like, you could try something like this.
That's awesome.
The W sauce. Where's your Worcestershire?
Have we put the Washingtons in the burger?
Yeah, you put your thumbprint on top, put a little W sauce in there before you flip it. We'll see.
Well, now you told everybody your secret.
You'll thank me later. And like I said at the last board meeting, and I'm, the things that we're doing in our district, it's amazing. I was not aware of any of the problems. I'm committing to actually go there, like I said before. I want to go there and I want to talk to somebody and say, okay, what's broke? And walk around it with somebody that's educated that can give me some terminology, because at the end of the day, it's going to come back to the Business Services Committee. We're going to have, and it's going to come back in jargon, and I'm like, what is this? What is that? I want to physically see it and figure it out, and I'm assuming there's somebody that can help us out with that. And I thank you for putting your own personal money. Once again,
I'd be happy to come to the tour with you.
The more the merrier. Yeah, you seem very educated in that, and you'll just have to.
Too many lights getting.
Huh? Yeah, I got a flashlight on my phone. We'll get around, but I've got your email now, and I'd like to get that scheduled here sooner than later. And once again, kind of like we all touched on it, we don't know what we don't know. Certain things, especially because this is a pathway program, this is something that we need to, educational credits revolve around, the scholarships revolve around this stuff. It wasn't that we didn't want to, it's that we didn't know how, or didn't know what. And speaking out, that takes utmost respect, hats off to you. Speaking out and getting a team of people behind you, supporting you is awesome. And this is something that I look at that auditorium as it's a community space. And so, it's not that it wasn't on our mind, we didn't know to what repair that it was in. So, other than that, girls flag football, first year, won our first playoff game. And then Guilford, that team is just, I really would encourage everybody to cheer for Guilford to win state, so then we can like, we got knocked out by the state champions. Right?
They're like 16th in the country.
Yeah, they're the number 1 seed, number 5 or 3 in the state or something like that. Yeah, so let's all cheer for Guilford. They're Nick 10. I think they're the only Nick 10 team left.
Yep.
Let's all cheer for Guilford. Then it's a lot easier when you get beat by the state champion. It's probably an easier pill to swallow. Other than that, I'm going to say this every time I get a chance to. We need to talk more about what's going right. We're really quick to hear what's going wrong, but what's going right in our district is we're moving so far in the right direction now. We're not perfect, but I encourage, number 1, communication, and number 2, talk about the good that's going on in our district, because it far, far, far outweighs the negative stuff that's in our district. So, thank you, and yeah.
Good night, McKnight.
Oh, yes.
It's a good sign off.
Thank you. I just want to, first of all, thank the WASPs for buzzing in to help us with the
Good one.
the Pledge of Allegiance. That was fun to see them. I was expecting them all to come in here in their yellow and black stripes, but they didn't quite have the clothing on to match that. I thought that was fantastic, the way they all said their names, just like Aaron said. They were so boisterous and so happy to be here and so excited. And boy, I know even when I would come in to comment in the board meeting, you'd stand here and feel like you're gonna wet your pants. And it was so nice to see the kids doing some of this fun stuff. I don't want to pick out anybody in particular for comments, but Evan, as soon as you came up here, I was like, this kid's gonna be singing. He's gonna sing to us. He's got such an outstanding, personality. That's fantastic that you're into all of that group, and it's just, I want to see you in Oklahoma someday and just the lead production of it. But that sounds like it's a neat thing. It really is. I can't wait to see the horizons. That'll be fun to read. Whether it's 2 pages or 10 pages, it'll be fun to see. And I would love to see some public comments in there as well. That'd be fun to see some of that. But as some of the others were saying, it's neat to have things thrown in there, like, okay, who's dating who, and who was captain of this, and who's. So it would be fun.
Be careful with
Don't do it, guys.
Don't do it. Hone it in a little bit.
1800s.
First and last.
Yeah. So it's fun. I'm looking forward to reading some of the horizons as well. I had a blast at Parker Center, reading to, I think, 4 classes, and they were so fun to sit and listen. And I read to one of the special ed classes and then to EC, and they're enthralled. They just love to have people come in and sit and listen, and most of them were just, they love Grover, so my favorite, so I gotta take my Grover in there. But the one thing I want to do, we had a comment at the last board meeting about middle school, and the comment she made was she wanted to see us one of us or someone shadow somebody at middle school and kind of wander around and see what's going on over there, and because she was concerned about space and congestion. But I kind of wanted to say, hey, let's all go. Let's make it a field day. Let's just go and spend a day at middle school, and just see what's going on over there, and see, how the school is, how the lunch is, how the space is, how, just some interesting things to just have eyes on the feet on the ground, boots on the ground, as some people say. It'd be interesting to go over there. I know I've been wanting to go over there and just shadow, and it's been kind of like, don't do that. But I would like to do that, and I would like to see some of us go over there, and even if it's just 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, but I would like to. So that's about it for me, and I'm just looking forward to the horizons. I want to start reading the horizons, so thank you.
Thank you. And with that, Dr. Bashar.
Thank you. I have one item this evening. We're now to the end of the fall season, so this is when we start to prepare for teams making it to sectionals and state. So at your seat, there is an overnight travel for cross country in hopes that they qualify for sectionals. They would go on Friday, they would run the course, they'd spend the night, and then they'd race on Saturday and return. So I wish them luck and hope that we have qualifiers. ends my report.
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
Also a good report of committee of the whole. Speaking of things, the pre-K is fantastic. It was great going through that information. Again, another thing that hopefully the community knows of that option that we've got for our littles.
Thank you.
Josh Green.
All right, thank you. My first item today is a recommendation to approve a resolution declaring surplus property that's at the Harlem Administration Center and Loves Park Elementary. Next is a recommendation to approve a facility request. There is one, that is with Six Flags Hurricane Harbor, that is for their annual lifeguard certification training. Any questions on either of those? Okay. 12B3 is a recommendation to approve ARC Design, to approve design and work drawings for Olson Park Elementary and Harlem Middle School parking lot repairs, and Harlem High School varsity baseball field backstop and fence. I know Megan had mentioned something about this item. We did put these in the budget and how, we talked a lot about how the parking lots ended up on here. And the baseball netting, Dr. Arrow and I went over there and looked because there was some concern about that netting or the fencing that's there is rusted and in bad shape on both fields. And so there's also not a lot of space there to watch those games. The backstop's further back than it probably should be, so this would allow a little more concrete for more people to sit, get proper back netting on that.
Should I ask my questions now, or what? Okay, sorry.
You can ask them now, or you can wait till.
Yeah, so my main questions, and I'm sorry, my deepest apologies. I usually prep and talk to the administration way before this, so I apologize to bring it up real time. My main questions are, so you're saying netting and fencing. This says concrete rehab. What is it actually for?
What is the scope? Sure.
Yeah.
So we would, and this is tentative because they would draw up the exact plan for, we walked this with the engineers 6 weeks ago, roughly. So we would remove the rusty fence that's there, put some number of feet of concrete, I don't know that until they draw that up, and then put that netting system, like what's gonna go on the girls softball field there.
Okay, and I see on here fees for services. What's built into the, because I'm assuming first step is to get the architects out. Did we build the entire project into the budget? And if we did, what's that total number?
So we bypass the architects and use just the engineers, like.
Okay.
So for softball, we did have the architects, we went only to the engineers here.
So you're saving money.
Yes, sorry, engineers. I apologize, I misspoke.
I had put in the budget 100,000, and that's what I had told them, but as we designed that, I told them when we walked that was the number that we had.
Okay. My last question is, I may need to wait until Mike's back for this, or maybe Chris, you can walk me through it. On the 12B3, it is broken out into Olson Park HMS parking lots and the varsity baseball, but as a voting item, it's one.
Do you want to split that out?
I would love to split that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Sure.
Cool. Thank you so much, and I apologize for the.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that I'm the same boat again, but that's kind of how we wrote it up, so. Are there any other questions on these?
So you're saying to add like a B 3.5?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yep.
Okay.
If that's okay with everybody, I'd just like to split them.
Sure.
Yeah, we can
issues if it's
surprise
allowed.
Mike. That'll be
And that will be the Harlem Middle School part.
Yeah, so the first one is the Olson Park and HMS parking lot repairs. And then the second part is the HHS varsity baseball field backstop and fence.
Okay.
That's a lot of words.
It is, we owe Mike more praise. It's a lot.
We good?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So we have
No,
a
you're
14 B.5.
My next item is a recommendation to approve a proposal for Easy Archive with digital document archiving service at a cost of $16,680 with an annual fee of $2,400. Megan, you missed the old plans we brought out that we were gonna show. I didn't bring them.
Yeah, come on. You missed
So this
Forest
is
Hills
for-
Elementary.
This is for all the blueprint scanning that we have, and then, so that's scanning and tagging, and then tagging the electronic blueprints that we have, so.
Oh, that's
those-
really cool.
Those would be then kept by location. We also talked about any HVAC equipment manuals, all of that would be stored, so you could, like maintenance could go up with a tablet and look at the manuals, and we have plans from 90 years ago that just need to be scanned and digitally archived, and we talked quite a bit about that at Committee of the Whole.
It's a good thing to have, and it's a lot more efficient than a giant file file.
Yeah.
It's just, it was a lot per megabyte, but for what it's actually being stored was fine.
Yeah.
I had questions about how we back that up, getting offsite balances of it, making sure the file formats exist 90 years from now and how that's directly done.
Yeah.
Keeping the original files that are there. I still think having some sort of auditor review yearly would be helpful, just because of the nature of this type of data, because if it's just a big black hole of data, what
Yeah.
goes in, you may not be able to sort it out properly. Josh answered a lot of those questions at the Committee of the Whole. Thank you for that, Josh. I will save you from going through all those questions again. But that turned me from going, we're paying $2,400 for 256 megabytes to, that is worth its cost.
Awesome.
Josh, is that gonna be, I mean, it says 24 annually, 2,400, is that going to, we assume that will probably go up over the years, or is that just a
It'll
set
probably go-
rate?
It'll probably go up slightly. I mean, typically we see a few percent on that.
So it's not like an automatic, every year it's gonna go up 1% or 2% or some.
It might go up a couple percent. I mean, we do see that with a lot of our softwares, but I mean, that number's pretty reasonable, so a couple percent, that's not, it's pretty minor, but.
And includes them scanning it.
Yes, and scanning the large format plans
Yeah.
and tagging them is a big deal. And I think I mentioned it, Committee of the Whole, that price did come down about $3,500 from many years ago when I had them quoted, so. All right, we good on that?
Yeah.
All right, so next is a recommendation to approve the estimated annual 2024 tax levy. We went through the highlights at Business Services, but I'll kind of hit them again just for the record. Beginning with the timeline, which is on page 4. So tonight, we presented the tax levy at Committee of the Whole on October 9th. And so tonight, the board will determine whether they plan on levying over 5% or under 5%, and we're recommending to levy under 5%. And so if that's approved, then at Business Services, we'll recommend a final tax levy to be approved at the November 18th board meeting. So on page 8 is the Winnebago County living rate calculation, or their estimate, which is the cost of living, which is 3.4%, and new property of just under $1.9 million. So on page 9, it does show that the EAV is projected by the county to go up 13.25%, but just a clarifying note, that doesn't mean we get 13% more. When the EAV goes up or the valuation goes up, the tax rate comes down. So our tax rate last year was 6.129, and the county's estimating that it's gonna be somewhere in the 5.53 ballpark. One important note here too is that this is year 2 of abatement of the property tax relief grant. So twice the district has received the property tax relief grant from the state. The first time we abated like just over $8 million, and so this time we have abatement 2 times of $1,790,709. So this is the second year of abating that amount in there, and so it breaks down all of what we're levying or requesting, keeping in mind that the capped amount is limited to 3.4% on that. On page 18 is the comparative EAV. That just gives a good historical snapshot of where our valuations have been, what our tax rate has been, and what the cost of living, or CPI, has been over the last 14 years. So I'm recommending to levy under the 5%. Any questions on the tax levy tonight?
I had a question from an outside comment that came to me, and it's not so much the spending part of it, but he kind of said to me, you know, where is the district saving money? Where are we trying to cut the budget, cut the spending so much, you know?
Who's saving
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
we-
that's part of it too. is that
We've got some of
everybody's
the
spending on
take the
everything.
leases back to the ownership to utilize some of the grants, like, I'm sorry.
Right, and I know we have, you know, grants and stipends and all kinds of things that come in on the scholarships and everything that comes in, but it's just one of these where he was just saying to me, where do we actually begin to cut things? You know, do we take, you know, pay cuts? Do we take, you know, just different things that can be just set lower so that, you know, maybe we don't need an extra tax levy. Maybe we don't need to try to get a 1%, you know, sales tax increase, just to just say, hey, where do we cut some things?
Sure, and we talked, I think quite a bit about this at the budget presentations too, of this is one of the only forms of revenue that is keeping up with the cost of living, because the state is not, and we talked about the CPPRT drop of the $5 million reduced revenue there. So when we look at the health insurance cost and, you know, even at 5%, you're almost talking $1 million cost just for the health insurance piece of this now. So yeah, no, that is a good question, kind of combined, but also kind of separate from this too. But these funds are critical in the cost of living salaries and benefits that we see year to year. But
I know he's made some comments to me about how, you know, obviously spending is going up and values and property values are going up, and, you know, obviously people are paying 25% more for groceries and all the things that are going on, and so it's just, you know, his comment to me was, where are we saving? So.
Yeah, and again, I think it's important to note that the valuation of your house going up doesn't mean you pay more, it lowers the tax rate. It's the cost of living or the CPI that determines the increase.
Right, understand.
Well, I'm sorry, if I can jump in real quick, I think it's really important to note that when we start talking about like salaries and stuff like that, the salaries we're talking about is our educators.
Of course, of course. I mean, that was
I don't,
something he had brought up to me, so
I don't, no, I totally, I understand it's not your words, it's somebody else's, but I just want, you know, for whoever's watching, for whoever's in the room, you know, it's our educators. It's the reason, you know, why we're here. They are frontline with our students. If anything, the educators should be last on that list, and I know this I'm talking out of nowhere because it's, you know, it's has to be negotiated and everything, but when we're speaking to the community as board members, I think it's really important to say of like, this is, they're ultimately, they're providing a service, and that service is to educate our kids. They're going into the building day in, day out for 6-7 hours at a time, and they're responsible for the most important things to us in our lives. So, you know, it kind of, and no offense to teachers, they're just not finding a good metaphor right now. It's kind of like saying, where can I go for cheap breaks? You know, it's not, the educators' salaries are not where we want to cut. And to Josh's point in the last meeting, we got tons of projects. And these projects are, to me, crucial. They're not just like oh, it'd be nice to. It's like, no, these things actually need to be done. So I would love, like, when we're addressing those questions, really thinking about, you know, all the times in this meeting and business services and committee of the whole, we have like added up those dollars, especially with these two. Shout out to Aaron and Kurt, because they're always asking the questions on where we can save, where we, like what is absolutely what's necessary. Thank you for finding the words. So I would love for our message to stay consistent, and there to not even be the question of should we start cutting salaries, if that makes sense. And again, no, it's not your words. I'm just, you know, reacting to the comment. We have to think about those things and think about the value that we're putting into the education, which is we're a school, which is why we're here. So,
well, one of the things I can attest to, we added an architect. We're using engineers instead of architect. I'd like for us to start using some civil engineers for our HVAC projects, because if you're going to an architect's going to an engineer, marking it up. So I'd like to start, and those are ways that we're saving money because we're cutting out middlemen in some of the projects that absolutely have to be done, like the roof. Like,
well, yeah, obviously.
You know,
maybe we get a good deal on umbrellas, right? They don't have to fix the roof.
Yeah, well.
Obviously, there are things that must be done,
We'll get
maintenance
some,
and
yeah.
bills and things
But that's
like
what I'm saying,
that, you know.
so the answer to that is we're changing the way we do business.
But we haven't, that's what
to save
Come
money.
off with some of the stuff for COVID, on what applications are necessary, and using those as trial runs, getting the money for the electric buses, which may be there, or we use this as an opportunity, going, that's gonna be crazy, we don't do that directly. I think the creativity that we have and the skill that we have in our administrators really gives us the edge. Because if you start taking, a broader, what you lose with that is our edge and it's our quality, it's the investment, to your point, of our kids. Like, what is better than investing those kids? Even if you don't have kids in the district, those.
It's like over,
Those kids are in our
a few
district,
million.
those are investments, and anyone that.
But we just lost $5 million
It's part
to
of
the
it,
state,
it's
so
all secular.
it's a flip of two.
Yes.
And I think, one, if you
Could've
look
been
at,
worse.
everyone should look at
Mine
page
would've been
18.
Look at the tax rate
Please, yeah,
10 years
like,
ago.
I don't know, we can't share this, it's online, look at page 18, look at the work that's done for the tax rate directly coming down. I mean, everything, you're fielding everything still.
No, I know.
But the work is there, right? Like,
No, it is, but that's what I'm asking, because you made the comment, so I'm just, you've been on the board for 2+ years.
Right.
You've been at the meetings, we're not grossly doing anything.
Oh, no, and I'm not saying we're outspending, and this is a comment that
No,
Chris
no,
said to
so
me,
that-
and I think part of what he was saying to me was, we have this particular building, and not to cut it, anybody particularly, but it's like this particular building is spending as much in our salaries and things like that. And I'm not saying I'm not advocating that we necessarily cut salaries. I'm just saying that there are probably, from his point of view, there are probably a lot of little things that, maybe we do this, maybe we do that, maybe.
Well, what are they? Like, give an example
I think we need to-
bring that to the
Okay,
board,
well,
and then we'll discuss.
We'll just support you. I
Right,
think
and
that
then-
comes back to
Yeah.
making sure the things that we're doing and the things that we're coming up with, because again, I'm gonna give Josh credit, some of the unique ways that he has found are there. But there's a big difference from what happens at the community of the whole, and the amount of people that show up or know what happens there, to then this meeting,
Right.
to then the general public, and then beyond that. So it's really easy, right? Like, we are the largest taxing body, it's easy to see that. But we have to do a better job of making sure that message, and you're one of those messages with
I can go back to him and I
us.
can say, hey, come to the COTW meeting and, sit down with us and discuss it with us and see what you can come up with and what you can look at cutting, so. it's
yeah,
just-
business services at the
Yeah.
tail end,
Oh, yeah.
so anybody should be
Or
able to
email
make,
in, if you got
everybody should make it.
suggestions. Like,
Right,
we will
right.
funnel it to whoever needs to do it for any
And
suggestions.
that's fine, because it's just something.
Because if somebody's finding
that came to me.
holes.
Right, oh, yeah.
Josh, you don't like saving money, right? Like,
Right, well,
some of the best things are just following of
Right,
like,
right.
again, that knowledge of the ability of saving the interest rate on printers by purchasing those printers directly outright. The going through buses, realizing the reinvestment of those buses, the depreciation value of those buses, and creating a schedule to sell those buses to maximize what we have without taking in and hitting all of the repair costs. Like, those need to be highlighted.
The community solar.
Community solar and the amount of money that's come through, or the investments that we have and then the interest rate going up and then being able to utilize that money for additional projects.
You can also mention the fact that we sold that for the well that would have cost taxpayers $13 million.
Well, see, these are things that I have to go back in and look up as well, but that was the first thing I said to him, was, hey, I know Josh and Mickey both work their butts off trying
But
to
no one still
work
knows of that.
for,
Yeah.
Well, we got-
grants and scholarships and those kind of things, so
We got a
it's
free
not.
baseball diamond by loaning or giving some land to the city of Love Park to
Right,
put a new
right.
water
So that-
tower.
right.
Our childbirth to pre-K, that's completely free to the students, that doesn't use any of our direct tax dollars, it's all grant-based, that we have and the other districts don't have. Like, there are, man, like, I mean, we just need a board meeting where we can just list off and just get an audience and say the stuff and praise the work that's done. Now, is there more to be done?
Yes.
Absolutely. Can we always do a better job?
Yes.
Absolutely. But man, like, I just wanna make sure that, especially tax season, election season, all this stuff gets really brought to the surface.
If
Just to make
anybody
sure
was
that
wondering
things are
what was
done.
getting built behind McChesney Park School, that, with the fencing and all that.
It's a big well.
That's a big well.
Yeah.
They needed that, and they didn't have to charge the taxpayers $13 million for, so we ended up.
We could have saved money by
We
not
actually
having
sold
drinking
them the
water.
property, and we didn't take their first offer, and ended up getting double. It was almost double, wasn't it?
Something like that, but anyways.
Yeah.
So that was the other thing, I'll just have to
And
go
we got
back
the
and just say,
property
hey,
back.
come to COTW and
yes.
voice your opinion.
He's got some ideas, I'm
Yeah.
absolutely all for it.
I'm sure he does, so we'll see how it goes.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Sorry, Josh, take some.
No, no worries. Next is a recommendation to approve an independent contractor agreement with Janice Bubnick to provide tutoring services for students who attend Concordia Lutheran School for the FY 25 school year for a total cost of $5,000 paid with ESEA Title I funds. Question on that? All right, my final item is a recommendation to approve the engagement letter with Chapman and Cutler LLP for bond counsel and disclosure counsel services related to the issuance of school fire prevention and safety bonds, series 2025. Larry and I had a good conversation before the meeting that the PMA agreement and this agreement essentially work together in that bond issuance that is relating to the roofs, that the roof repair work that we're gonna do, so they're all go together. So, are there any questions on that? If not, that is my report.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Schiller-Wagner.
Do we want
There was one of those discussion point on this?
Wait a minute, this is just a recommendation, we can go to the approval, do you want to pull it in before she does the recommendation, how do you want to do it?
No, we can wait until the closed session.
No, that's what.
I thought you were gonna ask about the new electric buses. If we were gonna request a different shade of yellow, because it's
Stop.
electric.
Electric, yellow?
They have a green bumper.
Okay.
Like the one on the Beatles album?
I knew where you were going
Like
with
the yellow submarine color on the Beatles album?
that. All right, we'll turn it over to you, and then before we vote on it, we'll pull it in and talk about
Okay,
it.
that sounds good.
Sure, sure. So for this evening's personnel agenda and addendum, we have 19 employments.
Yes.
I know, right?
Plus
6 transfers and 12 resignations.
Oh.
And it's still a plus positive.
Sorry, we're still
It's a
net
plus
5.
positive.
We're net 5.
It's a good positive, yes. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, Dr. Troy Yarbrough.
All right, thank you. Just got one Freedom of Information Act to report today, submitted by the Harlem Federation of Teachers, requesting information relative to emails and librarian schedule and a district response with inclusive documents dated October 8th of 2024. That's all I got.
Thank you. All right, need a motion and a second to go into closed session to discuss personnel, where is it?
Person, right?
Yeah, to discuss employment of personnel, 5 ILCS 120-2C1. Normally I have it highlighted for myself. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Aye.
Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings? Aye.
5 minutes?
Yes.
those in favor?
Aye.
Can we do it? All of?
Yes, we can, actually. All right, I just don't normally do it that way.
All right.
You need a roll call on that one.
No, you don't.
Ah, yeah.
You just have to do it once.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
All right. Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings, aye. Mr. Sterling?
All right.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Action items. Can I get a motion to approve resolution declaring surplus property?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings, aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
All right, 14B. 14B. Can I get a motion to approve art design to read design and working drawings for Olson Park Elementary School?
We have to split those out, don't we?
That's why I said
Yes, we
B.
are.
Oh, but B.
But there's gonna be a B.5.
There's gonna be a
Okay.
B, yeah.
Sorry.
Olson Park and middle school parking lots.
And middle school parking lots. Yes.
Motion.
Second.
About to finish it.
Ms. Hastings, aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Can I get a motion for 14B.5 for the high school varsity baseball field backstop and fence?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight, excuse me.
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
Abstain?
You have to give a reason.
To give a reason. I'm just not sure we need to be spending that money right now, until spring.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings, no.
You have one abstain.
We have 4
Okay.
yeses.
Yeah, I passed.
Just making sure.
All right, 14C. Can I get a motion to approve a proposal with Easy Archive for digital document archiving service at a cost of $16,680 at an annual fee for $2,400?
Motion?
Second. Oh. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings, yes.
Can I get a motion to approve the estimated annual 2024 tax levy?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
No.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings, aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Sterling.
Okay, we have to approve something.
Yeah.
We have to approve tax levy. Like,
Can I get a motion to approve an independent contractor agreement with Janice Bubnak to provide tutoring services for students who attend Concordia Lutheran School for the FY25 school year for a total cost of $5,000 paid with ESEA Title I funds?
Motion.
Second.
did you second?
Yes.
Oh.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson, excuse me.
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings, aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Can I get a motion to approve the engagement letter with Chapman and Cutler LLP for bond where did I say bound? Bond counsel and disclosure counsel services related to the issuance of school fire prevention and safety bonds, series 2025. Got it the second time.
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings, aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Announcements and discussion.
I just want to say, Evan's the only one that came back in, but essentially, I think we're streaming to anybody that spoke on the auditorium. I appreciate it. I also have a great trust in Dr. Yarbrough. He spoke at the beginning of it and said, we take it back, we're going to have a plan. I have complete faith that that's going to happen, and I think he has complete faith that I'll follow up. So I know tonight was tonight was a little bit of a rough one for my admin team. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for speaking tonight.
Anybody else?
I just want to say thank you as well. I'm hoping Megan's feeling better after last COTW.
I am.
Went home,
Thank
doing
you.
Whatever you were doing. But I want to say thanks to our board. I'm sorry Evelyn is missing us half the time lately. We're trying. and, you know, I appreciate all of the comments and gestures and whatever, because we have to deal with each other and work with each other, and I appreciate the camaraderie.
Thank you. Guys, anything?
No.
All right, with that, I take a motion in a second to.
No,
We have to do 17.
We have an action item.
Sorry,
Oh,
17.
17A.
What am I doing?
I think that everyone has to do what you do at least once, Mike, of reading these things off, because I've done it at least a couple times, and I'm glad
Well, they going
it's your
in
job.
closed, open, closed.
Well, he's
Yes.
been here for a couple minutes.
It's my fault, Mr. Sterling,
That's
I
why
got you
I-
off your.
You got me all discombobulated. That's all good. Can I get a motion for consideration to approve a memorandum of understanding between Harlem Board of Education, Harlem Federation of Teachers, and the Harlem Federation of Support Staff relative to full-time registered nurses' working conditions?
Motion.
Second. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings, aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Can I get a motion and a second to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Does anybody here live in Lutz Park?